Hey YouTube world, Harvard is plenty. Thanks for stopping by to check out the video. So a lot of people are actually unaware that our US military, the Pentagon, and many of the alphabet agencies, that they have remote viewing programs that they use. They use psychics, mediums, remote viewers. Some of them even bring in tarot card readers to try to divine the future and to gather intelligence. That is real big, and a lot of people are completely unaware of that. And that brings me to this video today. Sean Ryan, on the Sean Ryan show, he interviewed Angela Ford, who's a U.S. Army psychic. And she's renowned in her field. And as you're going to see, because I'm going to do an intro to let you guys hear what her credentials are, she talks freely about her career. She talks freely about her UFO encounters, about missions that they've did, and this and that. But when he asks her about Jesus and the crucifixion, things change. So let's dive into this real quick, and I'll be right back to cue it up for you guys. All right?
Angela Ford, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here, and thank you for the opportunity.
Well, thank you for being here, and I am very humbled to be here with you right now. And so you first kind of popped up on my radar when I interviewed Joe McMoneagle. He had brought you up in the interview, and I asked Joe to connect us, if he would connect us, and he said he'd be happy to. And then I interviewed another one of your former colleagues. Actually, sounds like both of them are still colleagues to this day. But Edwin May,
Yeah.
another fascinating guy. And man, everybody in this space has just been so nice to talk to. And I love the subject matter. So I'm very happy you're here.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. So everybody starts off with a introduction here. And so Angela Ford, you're a remote viewer 079. You have worked for 32 years in the intelligence community. You are a member of the U.S. Army's remote viewing at Fort Meade, Maryland from 1986 to 1985.
1995.
Excuse me, 1995. You are currently a teacher at the Monroe Institute and participate in occasional projects with Dr. Ed May at the Laboratories of Fundamental Research, LFR. You're one of the few female remote viewers in the Stargate program used to use automatic writing. Discovery Channel aired a reenactment of a case that you solved for the U.S. Customs in 1989. You were given special acknowledgement in former Secretary of Defense William Cohen's book, Murder in the Senate. You have been written about in Annie Jacobson's book, Phenomena, The Secret History of the U.S. Government's Investigations into Extrasensory Perception and Psychokinesis. Do you know Annie?
Yes.
I just interviewed her too.
Yeah.
And another interview I loved, and I just really happy I connected with her as well. But so we got a couple things to knock out before we get in the weeds. I have a subscription network on Patreon, and they are our top supporters. Many of them have been with me since the very beginning, and I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for them, and neither would we be having this conversation. So one of the things that I offer them is the opportunity to ask each guest a question. And so I thought this was a good question because a lot of people kind of categorize spirituality with remote viewing and ESP type stuff. So this is from Paul. Have you known any remote viewers who have claimed negative spiritual experiences in the process of their remote viewing?
No.
No.
No. Because people that I know were trained in remote viewing. Remote viewing is nothing more than ESP. It's when somebody remote views to gather intelligence, It's nothing more than what a psychic does. The information is out there. When somebody receives psychic information, it's mental. So the information goes to the brain and then it goes on to the paper, whether you're doing coordinate remote viewing, extended remote viewing, whether you're using tarot cards, whether you're using a crystal ball. That's the manifestation of the information. So remote viewing is nothing more than ESP. It's a nice term that the scientist used. It's a nice term to use if you're trying to get money from Congress instead of saying psychic. And what makes remote viewing is the methodology, meaning that the remote viewer, the psychic, and the people involved in the remote viewing process are blind to the target. That is what makes remote viewing is the methodology. But if you ask a psychic we're going to do a remote viewing session, they're going to go into session and they're going to do whatever they need to do to gather the information.
Okay.
And you can't tell anyone, you can't tell a psychic, oh, well, you can't do that, you have to do this. Although in the Stargate program, they did have the coordinate remote viewing methodology because it was a manual. It was written by Stanford Research Institute, made the manual. It was nice to have to kind of show Congress that it's more technical. It took away from the spirituality but the Army took it as the military likes to train. So when the Army people saw this manual of coordinate remote viewing, then they kind of made it their Bible and this is remote viewing. But actually, when somebody remote views, they're just being a psychic. I mean, you can see it, you could feel it, you can hear it. Whatever happens in a session, you don't know.
Okay, that makes sense.
Now, I've had other people who claim that they're psychic, that if they've had negative experiences, and I've had negative experiences, and I remembered whenever I had started training as a psychic, I was very young. A woman told me, she said, Angela, you're going to see positive, but you're going to see negative. You're going to feel negativity because this is what Earth is made of. Positive. There's positive and there's negativity. But I'm just not. Sometimes it's just there, but it's energy. It just kind of goes away. I've been doing it for so long and so much has happened to me. It just doesn't matter. But I do, people call me up and they get a little nervous. They go, well, I had this dream and what does this mean? Or they may feel like, I just had a guy email me the other day. I think he started seeing, I think he was seeing orbs in his third eye area. And I said, your third eye's, it's a chakra center that's opening up. But I don't know. I don't know. I just feel there is negative. And I know a lot of psychics that don't want to read people if they're negative. Well, good luck to that. I mean, we're not always going to be 100% positive all the time.
Yeah.
And then I know people, healers and psychics, they bring a client in and they'll go through a whole exercise of, talking, bringing the light, blessing themselves. We only want good. It's just, I don't know, I don't do all of that, but I guess, I don't know, I guess it's just negative and positive.
Well,
so that kind of gave you an intro of who she is and what she have done. Now let's find out what happens when the question comes up about Jesus Christ and the crucifixion. Watch how things change rapidly.
All right, Angela, we're back from the break, and I wanted to kind of pause on your career for a minute, and I wanted to ask you about, maybe some personal ventures that you've used remote viewing for. And so kind of if I knew how to tap into this, I just have so many questions about the past, about religion, about UFOs, about all kinds of stuff. And so I'm wondering if you use this for your own curiosity.
Oh, yeah, of course. I would. Oh, of course. I read it. I would read anything I could on it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, so here's an example. I would love to know maybe what some of the things that were happening in World War II or the Bible or just big questions.
Oh, you mean use your psychic abilities to kind of figure it out?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes.
What
But
are
then
some of
sometimes
the
you don't know if you're right, though, but you don't have the feedback, and so you don't know if you're right or whatever. So sometimes you have to you may be curious about something or think of something and maybe try to figure it out. And then maybe it'll just do some research. Maybe your thinking was right, or maybe you have to look for your feedback to see if what you were feeling was right.
interesting? What are some of the big questions that you've
I
looked
guess
into?
what goes on after we leave this, I guess after our body, our physical body, I don't think, I sort of think that we sort of go on in some way. And I do believe that I was born and raised Catholic, but I had to let go a lot of that. I just had to let a lot of that thinking go. I mean, I like to think that we go on in some way. I do believe that there was a man named Jesus that walked the earth. But there were other people too that were here to teach lessons. And my biggest thing was what happens after we go on. I'm interested to know, do we come in reincarnation? I've asked, do we come back?
What do you believe happens when we die?
I just think you're kind of I think you go over with, I believe that you go on and that you're reunited with your soul family or with your karma group. The way I understand it is that we come into this life with our karma group. Now, we have karma, good karma and bad karma. So the same people that I was with, I just think that we come back, and we come back with the same people.
Really?
I believe in yeah, I do.
What is a karma group?
Well, it's the same. Like, in other words, the people you know now, you knew before in a past life. Did you ever go somewhere and just felt like you knew somebody or that you've been there before?
Yes.
Yeah, I've known you. Yeah, yeah.
What do you think deja vu is?
The remembering of a past life.
Do you think it's the remembering of a past life?
Yeah, if it happened before, either you were at that place. I felt like I had that with a couple of my animals.
Why do you think that?
Why do I think what?
Why do you think that we travel with a karma group?
Because it just makes, because we have things to work out with them, I guess.
Who would be in that karma group?
Friends, relatives, friends, people that you meet all through your life. Everybody that you know.
Everybody everybody in your sphere of.
You would know. I think it was explained to me like, you've got 1 million people will leave this earth, and then 1 million people will come down to replace the 1 million people that left.
Do we immediately come back?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so. I think you kind of have to wait for your karma group to figure out, if you come back this time, are you going to be my mother or my sister or my father or.
Why do you think that we come back? What have you experienced that makes you believe
Probably to get better and to whatever errors we have, try to replace them. There's a reason why we come back. Do we need to learn more love? Do we need to learn more patience?
that? Have you had any experiences that solidify your beliefs?
Not really. I mean, I don't have any scientific evidence. I did have one woman put me through a past life. And I don't know if it's true. It was sort of like a hypnotic state where you kind of go and visualize a past life. And I think I was in Nova Scotia growing wheat. I remember that. But I remember also there was a religion there that was very strict. I can remember in whatever under that session, I remembered belonging to an organized religion that was very strict. And so when I came out of that, I probably figured, well, the Catholic religion that I grew up with probably that energy was probably coming from that energy from that past life. And so somehow maybe I cleared myself of it in this life.
Have you tried to look into religion at all, such as the Crucifixion? You have? Do you not want to talk about that? Okay.
Did you guys see that? Did you see what happened? The scripture says demons tremble at the name alone. She didn't want to talk about it. Let's see that one more time.
Have you tried to look into religion at all, such as the Crucifixion? You have? Do you not want to talk about that? Okay.
Boom! And there it is. And so that's why I put up many videos on my channel of people who've been involved in that world. Reiki, divination, palm reading, code reading, tarot card reading, astral projection, all of that stuff, sorcery. I put up their videos so you can hear their personal testimony of how they got involved, what were some of the experiences in their life, and how they got out of it. So you can see it for yourself and hear it straight from the horse's mouth. And that takes me to Deuteronomy 18. I want to just read something to you guys real quick. Let's start at Deuteronomy 18:9. Abominable practices. And here's what it says. When you come into the land that the Lord your God is giving you, you shall not learn to follow the abominable practices of those nations. There shall not be found among any one of you or anyone who burns his son or his daughter as an offering, anyone who practices divination or tells fortunes or interprets omens, or a sorcerer or a charmer or a medium or a necromancer, or anyone who inquires of the dead. And many people still do that to this day. They want to reach out to their loved ones. You're not supposed to be doing those things. For whoever does these things is an abomination to the Lord. And because of these abominations, the Lord your God is driving them out before you. You shall be blameless before the Lord your God. For these nations which you are about to dispossess, listen to fortune tellers and to diviners. But as for you, the Lord your God has not allowed you to do this. And so we're not supposed to be doing that. And that's what happened with her. When they asked her about Jesus and the crucifixion, the demons in her would not allow her to speak. Yet people tell you, like if you listen to the Muslims, they'll tell you that Jesus wasn't even crucified. And there's others who tell you that Jesus didn't even exist. It's crazy. This lady knows what happened. The proof is in the pudding. You know, be careful out there. Don't get involved with any of these detestable practices, because what it does is it gives the demonic world legal right and authority over you. I have a book that I'll read. I'll grab it and I'll read some chapters or a couple paragraphs from it in another video. It talks about when you take these oaths and when you get involved with these things, that these fallen angels and these demons, they then claim legal right over you, and they could kill you at any time. And when you die, they could claim possession of your body, your spirit, and your soul and bring you down to the pit with them. They claim legal right and legal authority over you. So if you die and you're involved with this stuff, there's no salvation for you. So it's something that, you know, if you're watching this video, if you are involved with this stuff, or if any of your family members are involved with this stuff, or your friends or whatever, you might want to give them some type of warning. I'll come back with more videos. I'll put up more testimonials of people who got involved with this stuff. I'm going to put some links to some good videos below. Take a look at them. I love you guys. Continue to pray without ceasing. Remember, protect yourself at all times. Practice situational awareness. I love you. May the good Lord continue to bless you and your family.